Welcome. You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams here with my friend and pastor Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us, taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. We'd love for you to download that and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. All the fun ones. All the fun ones. All the good ones. Also, share this with a friend on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Rate and review on Apple Podcast. A few extra minutes will absolutely help get this in the hands of so many more leaders just like you who are trying to get better like us. Visit leadinghope.online, get updates, find out more about the Leading Hope community. Continuing the series today, Better After You're Gone, episode 189. Personality-driven leadership.
Wow.
Personality.
I don't know what that noise was. I apologize for that.
Every time I hear personality, I think of... Never mind. Go ahead.
So, main idea for this series is most people lead in a way that shows the belief that they want their era of leadership to be the golden age for that organization. But that isn't the mark of great leadership. It's the mark of capable yet ego-filled leadership. I want to emphasize why that's capable, okay? Because, like, if you don't have any leadership gifting, no one would mistake your era for the golden era of leadership. Okay, that's a whole... You may be trying to make it that without capable leadership, but no one's going to buy into it. That the mark of great leadership is that the organization, church, whatever it is able to be better after you're gone, not better because you're gone. And so the bullseye that we're after is we want it to be able to continue to grow and develop even after you've left. So how do you lead so that it will be better after you're gone? And one of the reasons that people give for why organizations decline ends up getting summed up in this phrase is that it was built on the personality of the leader. That there was this highly charismatic leader who connects with everyone, who is significantly gifted, and when they left, hey, obviously it declined. And so it even at times becomes this mark of like, oh, be cautious of the personality-driven leader. Be cautious of the really charismatic leader because once they go, everything's going to plummet. And my counter question to that, which I don't think is the conversation that's happening at all, is like, how do you build it not on the personality of the leader?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm
trying to think how that could ever possibly happen.
Like people, anytime it's like, oh, they're really gifted. They've got a really strong personality. It's doomed to fail. And so I'm like, I look at that and I go, so like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to like not tell jokes? Am I supposed to not have fun? Am I supposed to be like, because like everything you do,
I don't know. Yeah.
will be built with your personality.
Yeah.
And I would say that as like the person who is like no gifting, but huge network is building it as much on their personality as the person who has no network, high gifting, and hangs out in the green room all the time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't even know. Like, yeah. Jesus had an incredible personality. Every time you saw him, you knew he was going to ask you a question.
Well, in the other one,
you know what I mean?
They go to the idea of like sinners wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, personality-driven leader.
Yeah.
Sorry.
People who didn't want to follow anything followed him.
Let's run down that road.
Yeah.
Because if we were going to use the same critique of Jesus, he built it on his personality. We're like, Jesus, we would like for no one to want to hang out with you. We would like for you to perform 0 miracles because you're just using your extreme gifting to draw a crowd.
Yeah.
Which is literally what happened.
Right.
And say, well, Jesus,
you got serious here. You grabbed it. I don't think you've ever done that. He grabbed it. If you're on YouTube or listening, go just watch this part.
Jesus,
we're about 4 minutes in right now. Just
tell
so you know.
less stories,
grabbed it.
please.
Yeah.
These parables, not helpful.
Stop asking questions, Jesus.
Teaching is one who taught authority. No, thank you. Like every description of Jesus could go. Sorry, you're just a personality-driven leader. So
move on.
I just want people to say, like, first off, if anyone has leveraged that against you, like, they're just wrong. You always build with personality.
Yeah.
Okay? You always build it with your personality. Now, what I do want to dive into today is I believe that there is a difference between building it with your personality and building it on your personality.
Yeah.
There is a difference between how you grow and scale and develop and build
Absolutely.
through how you are versus on how you are. So let me make a couple notes on this, okay? If you're building it on your personality, you are the attraction point, the connecting point, and the sustaining point. Like you are the one who's bringing people in, connecting them initially, and the reason why they're still here. And so what will happen is the organization becomes disproportionately reliant upon you, upon your gifting, and upon your relationships. And I want to emphasize this again. The person, because often we'll say like, oh, I'm not a personality-driven leader. I'm focused on relationships. Well, if all the relationships are only connected to you, then you're still the personality-driven leader.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like person who has high gifting, who only builds it on their gifting, has built it on, not with their personality. The person who has only relational gifting, I was going to say no gifting. I realized that wasn't accurate, and it was like mean.
Yeah. And untrue.
But that's where it gets leveraged from.
Right.
Of just go, no, we're relationally focused. Well, if all the relationships are connected to you, it's still built on your personality, not with your personality.
Not to mention, I don't know anyone who's relationally driven with the people that they have the relationship with, going to the people. I like to hang out with them. They don't have any personality.
Yep.
I love hanging out with them. They have no personality.
Yep.
Like, they wouldn't be hanging out with you. There's no relationship.
So let me give you some helpful ideas on how to build with, not on, your personality. Okay. So first one is relationally focused. Don't allow any significant connection to rely only upon your relationship. So let's say it like this. If you're building partnerships, you should not be the only connecting point, okay? You should not be the only one who they're going to. As you're building your network, as you're building other pieces, you should not be the... And what I've seen in churches is I've seen pastors, especially senior pastors, become the linchpin. That it's like, oh, there's all these ministries, but they're all connected to a significant relationship with the senior pastor. And once the senior pastor is removed from that dynamic because they go somewhere else, all the ministries fall apart. All those relationships are severed. And Seth Godin actually wrote a book years ago called Linchpin.
Yep.
How do you put yourself as the key cog in your organization? And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
In terms of how to make yourself irreplaceable. But that's not your goal.
Right.
Okay. So like you should read that book and go, this is how I become unfireable. But you should also not act upon it.
Right.
Because you should connect people to others other than yourself. So I would just say be cautious, like especially senior leaders. If you're going this ministry, this connection, this other piece, they're all dependent upon my connection and me fostering that good relationship. That's not a good thing.
It's good.
Now you will need to be there to help foster those initial relationships. Okay. That is like the attraction point. You're able, in my position, I'm able to create more expansion and opportunities than anyone else.
Yeah.
But if I am also the connecting and the sustaining point, it is built on, not with, my personality.
It's good.
Second idea. You can lead the whole way through. Okay. And the entire organization. Okay. Things that are started, middle phase, continuing, okay, now implementation. You can lead the whole way through, but you cannot lead from the front the whole way through. There is a massive difference between leading from the front, leading in the middle, and leading from the back, okay? Leading in the middle, it's a lot of influence. Leading from the front is a lot of authority and direction. Leading from the back is a lot of encouragement. Okay. And so I want to tell you, you should lead the whole way through, no matter where you are, no matter what's going on, but you better not be the front person at every phase. If you're leading every meeting, it is built on your personality.
Yeah.
If you're taking over everything that's taking place, okay, it is built on your personality. That doesn't mean you're not leading, but it does mean in different environments, you're leading differently so that you're not leading from the front the whole way through. Third idea. Let other personalities lead. So when we lead, what we're actually doing is we're giving people access to our personality.
Yeah.
I walk in and out of our offices, and I know when a meeting's taking place because I can hear laughter and yelling.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just walking through. There are very few meetings that are quiet.
Right.
And so I'm walking through, and what's happening is when we're connecting, when we're working with each other, we are giving people access to our personalities.
Right.
This is why, and we're trying to figure this out in this phase, as we're trying to figure out what remote work looks like as we look at campus expansion and stuff like that. But the one thing that I want to stay constant even through remote work is not just progress, but access to personality.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes work fun.
That's good.
So when we lead, we give people access to our personality. That's what people connect to. Okay, leadership is not personality, but that's what people connect with. And so people should be able to connect with more personalities than just you. So let me speak like real clear church phase on this, okay? If I'm the only voice from the platform, I am the only personality that people are connecting with. By introducing other personality, like some people hear like people, and yes, it means other people, but what I'm actually saying is they're connecting with their personality. They're connecting with who they are. And when I do that, I help people connect with more voices, with more personalities than just myself. People let me speak church-wise. There are people in your church who should like staff members more than you.
Right.
I'm not saying everyone should.
Right.
Okay. But some people should go, oh, I connect better with their personality, or I enjoy that personality more. What you're doing, that's not a negative on who you are as a leader. That means you're not building it on just you.
Yeah.
Okay. So let other personalities lead. And then I would say the fourth thing here, utilize your personality to bring to life the things that will live beyond you. So you utilize your gifting, your ability, your network, your relationships, your humor, all these other things to give energy to the vision, the values, all of these things that live beyond you after you're gone, better after you're gone. By breathing life into those things and not just your pet peeves, you ensure that it'll be better after you're gone.
Man, a lot there to really kind of understand, because there's a personalities is something that, I mean, we take tests on this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of people are kind of engaged with this topic in general, like personality. Oh, yeah, I have a personality. They have personality. It's different from my personality, but we still need to work together. And we're talking about a whole nother level is now we have to lead. You talk about lead on versus with.
Yeah.
Hopefully not for.
That's good. That's good.
Hopefully never for.
That's a great phrase.
Right. Like hopefully never for. And then on and with is the thing you really got to decide when you're in meetings, when you're addressing people and stuff, is how am I actually doing it? Is this on mine or is it with? And then I'm releasing. Let's go to the thing. I think you do that. Let other personalities lead in environments. I think you do that really well, especially within the church context. New people into your church will always identify with the lead pastor immediately. Like they're not coming in and trying to find the guest experience director or pastor and going, I know them. They don't even see them because they've employed their team to meet you and greet you, right?
Yep.
The next steps, whatever you have that, they don't know who the pastor is. They know who the guy is up on the stage that spoke.
Yep.
And if they come back 3 times, which everyone should come back 3 times.
3 visits to learn culture, meet people, and see what God is doing in your life.
That's it. If they do that, it's going to be because of the lead pastor and they've connected with him. Here's where you come in. You do this really well, is that if they somehow identify to you that they're a new person, you make sure that you give them their next step through a different personality, which is another team lead or a pastor on the team that can help them get connected. You're not trying to do that yourself because you want them to meet other people, connect other people, and be part of a community, not be part of a personality.
I think that's a really important statement. So, like, I don't do that because I'm lazy.
Right.
I do
it
that
intentionally.
Because I know if they're only connected to me, then their growth in the organization is very short-lived. And if I go, so do they. And I do not want that.
Jesus had 12 dudes.
That's a really funny follow-up phrase.
Well, we started it with there.
Yep.
He didn't have 200 people that he was, walking around with.
Yeah.
And so, you've got to be able to know how to hand people into communities and help them with next steps. You do that really quick. You do it quick and on purpose. The other part that I think is significant.
Can I add in, and this is going to sound...
say it.
How do I say this?
Well...
This is like my inner playbook.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what the podcast is about.
This may be too much.
Well, I mean, it's the podcast.
I would rather characterize myself as a single gifted leader who's inadequate. This kind of gets into the message that I gave recently.
Yeah.
A single gifted leader who's inadequate in every other area so that people will be connected to others.
Right.
Like, if I could say it like this, like, I'm actually not a bad counselor.
Right.
I don't think I'm the best.
Right.
But couples, like, I'm actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But I would rather characterize myself as
awful.
Do not have me in that area. Like, do not have me in that area.
Right.
Because I know it's not best for them.
Right.
And so, like, I'm not trying to, I think sometimes we can get in this spot. The difference between the person who builds with and on their personality is the person who builds on their personality puts them in a spot where they are irreplaceable.
Yep.
And there are seasons in which I am irreplaceable.
Yep.
Like starting a new thing. If I'm the one who's helping launch it, if you pull me out, it'll crumble.
Yeah.
But it better not be that way for long.
Right.
And so I want the initiatives, the programs, the resources, and the people to be built from such a solid foundation that I am just one small part of that.
That's so good. I think that's so important when you're leading at a high level because you have to make sure that that's something you want, that you know that you're doing to be sustainable.
Is that okay that I do that?
What? That you...
Like the counseling
highly
thing and
downplay
the
it?
connecting thing?
I think ultimately you probably are a little too hard on yourself. But I think you probably stress the awful more than you stress that I'm not the best for it.
That's fair.
So if
it's funnier when I say I'm awful.
It's more funny, yes. but I would say yeah, not awful, but not the best, because there's other people that can do it.
Yeah, I've just never thought through that dynamic. Like I knew why I was doing it.
Yeah,
and I knew the impact of why I was doing it. I just never really paused to go like, am I being untrue in what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I'd say I don't think you're trying to be untrue. I think you're trying to make the better point that, hey, I'm not the best for this in your life. We have people here. We have people that are gifted
yes.
in this.
There are absolutely people who are more gifted than me.
Yeah, and so I think you're just, and I mean, a lot of times people I think catch on to your personality, going back to that, where they know that that's just you.
That's fair.
So it's okay in that context. Because
they probably know I'm self-deprecating enough.
A new person might be like, oh, is he really? Yeah. So, but if they come 3 times, they'll know that's you and not just a thing.
Leading Hope episode 450 was, I was wrong. We'll get back to you guys on that in a couple years.
Keep listening. Keep coming back. How do you want to close this out, man?
Yeah, I want people to resist the idea that you have to be really cautious about your gifting and people being connected to you, because your goal is not to be boring and your goal is not to be like not gifted. I said that incorrect. Your goal is, yeah. You get it. Yeah. The organization should not be reliant upon you, but it can be better after you're gone if you build it to not be about you. So here's one simple exercise question that's really simple, okay? And you've heard it before. If you were hit by a bus, what would fall apart?
Oh.
What can you do today to stop that from happening? When I say what could you do today to stop that from happening, I mean things falling apart. But I also mean getting hit by a bus.
Yeah,
like if you need to venture on that question.
God forbid.
If you were removed from the organization, what would fall apart? And how do you need to operate differently so it doesn't?
That's so good, man. Personality. Use it for the thing. Don't make it the thing.
Oh, that's great.
There we go. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world to us if you did that now. So post about it, rate and review, or both. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you. And we love hearing your stories, how the podcast is working in your life and business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online or DM us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.
Woo!